All right, guys, welcome to another episode of Aussies taking over the NBA. We've got another week wrap-up of games for you. Just a quick reminder to find us on YouTube, Aussies taking over the NBA, as well as SoundCloud, Podcast Addict, iTunes. We're there. We're pretty much everywhere now. So you'd like, share, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It does help us out immensely. And if you're also an NBL fan, we're doing a On the King's Dime, which is the Chronicles of the Sydney Kings season. It's getting some awesome traction as well, so thank you very much, guys. But today we are going to wrap up some weekly games. I think we're heading into week 3, but first game on today's list is the Jazz and the Mavericks. And Aussie crime was denied in this game. No Broekhoff.
Yeah, no Broekhoff. Are we starting to worry about that yet?
I think we are worrying about that a little bit. I think maybe the lack of NBA body is catching up to his minutes schedule.
Maybe. I'm not sure if, like we were just talking about Rick Carlisle, I'm not sure if he really coaches in a way that's letting these players shoot more threes. I think he said that he wants to shoot more threes, but I don't think he really wants to shoot more threes. I think he wants this team to play more defense and open up opportunities to shoot threes, but it's not really happening at the moment. And I think that's where, as the team starts to tighten up and the games get into crunch time and they're losing games here and there, I think that's where Ryan Broekhoff's not really going to get much time to poke through and shoot threes. And I think rather than if the game
they're not
is
getting
a game
ahead of
that
games.
he can,
That's the problem. They're not getting ahead of games.
No.
They're just starting off on the back foot, and you're not going to put a guy in who can potentially take the lead from 10 to 20 very quickly in for a few minutes when you're chasing your tail. So
especially he's just a catch and shoot player mainly, and I don't think he's going to get drawn up to be handling the ball a lot and trying to get to the rim or utilizing his all-round aspects and his ability to score. I think they're just wanting him to shoot threes, and if he's not really knocking them down either. I think he's shooting about 25%.
But again, when you're on for 3 minutes, you get past the ball 3 times. It's kind of hard when you're not getting regular minutes in any game. It's all nice to do it in practice, but that's it's not game time. So,
but that's all right. I don't mind. He's on a 2-year deal, so it's going to take time anyway.
Mark Cuban might just get pissed and get rid of Rick Carlisle. You don't know.
I don't think so. I think
we could go. We are tanking, but we've got Doncic. We've got guys there that potentially can play. Dennis Smith Jr. And it's not gelling. It's really not gelling at all.
Nah, it's a bit all over the place. I thought DeAndre Jordan would have a lot more impact on this team, and he looks like he's struggling a bit.
He's gone back from one thing, rebounds. He's just a rebound king, and that's nice, and that does get you. But a lot of those aren't even second chance looks; they're just defensive rebounds.
Yeah,
playing at the 5. So I don't know what they're going to do to pull themselves out of this rut. I thought preseason they looked good. They looked like they were a fast moving team.
Yeah,
and then they're just kind of gone back on that. But
that's where the season to start. It's like welcome to the show type of thing. You got to actually go out there and do it. Not all games are played on paper. So their roster looks decent on paper, but I still think it's probably 3, maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 more solid pieces away from having the kind of roster that's going to be like JJ Barea. Dwight Powell still a couple of years away, and then Maxi Kleber as well, and then Wes Matthews is 32. He's their main point guard and shooting guard behind Dennis Smith, and that's not he's not a serviceable option. And then they've obviously trying to bring back Harrison Barnes, and then it's Luka Doncic's first year, and he's been given the keys basically.
Yeah, they kind of said, just give me the ball, and that's fair enough. I think they tried to play him in a system for 4 or 5 games, and he was just like, no, just give me the ball.
Well, you're at the mercy of a rookie in his first season trying his balls off and trying to make things happen, and that can be great. It can work. But at the same time, if it doesn't work and it's not working, there's not much else you can do. You just kind of got to cop it because he's a rookie and a talented player and he needs minutes. So I'm all right with it. I'm a bit worried, but at the same time, if he was on a team like Milwaukee, who's really
that's their game plan. It's just to get people open for 3. He could easily play 7 minutes, come out, knock down 3 threes, and then just that's his role. Come in third quarter when they're tired and the second backup unit's running, and play your 7 minutes hard towards the end of the third quarter, and then get the starters out for the fourth. And you've got a fast scoring option in the corner there. Well, look, they played Thon that game against the Raptors like that, and it worked really well. So, but we did have some Aussies in this game.
Yeah. Back to the Jazz.
Back to the Jazz. The Jazz are Jekyll and Hyde this season, aren't they?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, a bit inconsistent, but Ingles had 12 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal at a +9.
Yeah, but he had 4 turnovers, so he's a high turnover guy.
He's a high turnover guy, but
the problem is, his
so
turnovers.
the rest of the Jazz, 18 turnovers.
Yeah, they had a lot of turnovers in this game, but the problem for him, he's a high turnover guy basically because he's running a lot of pick and roll and passing in the lane a lot.
Yeah,
and that's sometimes he'll put it up for Rudy and it'll go awry. Sometimes it's a bounce pass in the lane and it goes awry. So you just got to kind of live with those turnovers. Dante had 2 turnovers as well. He's looked a lot better this year though. He's looking.
I think his body's just catching up to his abilities finally. He's so long and quick. Just blast past guys consistently and can get to the rim very easily and starting to shoot the 3 ball quite well.
Yeah,
at around 40%. So
I think he looks like he's playing with that mentality of freedom. Like, I can trust my body now.
Well, I've got 3 years contract.
Yeah.
They've committed to me for 3 years.
Yeah.
I've been reading some of the Utah Jazz boards and they're just like, yep, this is Rubio's last season. He's too inconsistent. Dante's doing the understudy and we're going to have Dante at running the helm potentially. And you know what? If he keeps playing minutes like he has done this year, there's no reason why that can't happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah, so Rubio's a little bit older though, which is it's always handy to have a tiered system of players, like your experienced guy, then your young guy coming through, and then your utility guys after that.
Yeah,
and it's probably a little bit too early for Exum.
Well, I think it's the contract. It's Rubio's up for a bigger contract. Jazz maybe don't have it. Well, we can potentially draft maybe a younger point guard or pick up a younger point guard and Dante take over the reins kind of thing. So anyway. Jay Crowder got injured in this game also, which was a bit of a blow for the Jazz.
I think he ended up just coming back in the next game anyway, so
okay,
he's all right. But I think that was a worry he went down, and then the Mavs kind of came back in this game, and made it a little bit closer than it should have been. I watched the end of that game, and Exum played really well in the third and the early fourth quarter.
Defensively,
really well.
He's a behemoth.
Yeah, he's really good.
So good defensively.
Getting in front of guys and. Against the T-Wolves, we'll go through a bit later. He struggled a little bit, but it's mainly his body. Like he's just got that ungainly body, which he can get in front of guys and cause them trouble with his length and his arm width, which he uses so well and uses effectively, and mainly plays on their smaller guards, which is good for him. It's good to see him.
We can kind of go through 1 through 3. It's like that Covington kind of style body. Covington's playing very well defensively this year. All right, next game, we go on to the Hawks and the 76ers.
Yeah.
Trey Mung, he's just, for a rookie, he's actually pretty good. Let's be real. I think for a first-year undersized guard, he's playing really well.
Yeah.
And he's really running the team quite well. They just don't have any pieces other than him.
That's pretty much their only problem.
Yeah, they're just bare. I think on any team that had potentially a good 5 and a good shooting guard and some bench depth, he'd be doing well, and he'd be getting a lot more assists and opening up for a lot more scoring. But Ben Simmons has a really good game in 27 minutes. He scored 21 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, and a block, plus 19. So he pretty much killed it. I think he came out in the third quarter and just went nuts.
Yeah,
and just scored at will. Again, Trae Young's not going to guard Ben Simmons.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle for him, isn't it? And their guards are pretty undersized. The Hawks.
Yeah.
Kevin Huerter, I think, is only 6'4" at shooting guard, and they don't really have another guy they can give the ball to.
Well, they you put like a length squad on them, and which Philly can. Philly can field a team of all over 6'6", and they'll just destroy this team because Ben Simmons is not a slow point guard either. He's quick. It's not going to be a slow burn.
And then even Bazemore at the 3 for the Hawks is undersized as well. So you're relying on guys like Len, who are not great defensive talents, playing on Embiid. And if you're going to play on Embiid, you're going to struggle. I mean, did Embiid play in this game? Yeah, he played.
He did. He didn't play too well. I think he scored 10 points. But that's a quiet game for Embiid. But I think Simmons took the reign third quarter and just went ballistic.
Yeah.
Fultz had somewhat of a good game as well. The Fultz experiment, I think Brett Brown came out during the week and pretty much said he is a point guard. He's not a number 2. But yeah, still continues to start him at number 2. I think he's just trying to get him minutes.
Well, I think it's in the long run, it's going to be better. Like this is the time when you throw your guy in.
Yeah, well, they're at 500 for the season, so it's not as if it's like all systems are bad. You know that if in the East, if you get to 500 at the end of the season, you're probably going to get a finals berth.
Yeah,
and that's all it is. It's about staying healthy till you get to the playoffs. Then you can play hard and play however you need to. So it's good that he's getting minutes and getting better. His jumper looks better.
Yeah. He looks so dangerous off the dribble too. So if you put the ball in his hand, he's going to try and make something happen at least. And then if you've got 2 guys like that in Ben Simmons and Fultz, making things happen from the point guard position, then you've got obviously Embiid in the paint as your like kind of go-to let-off valve. Make sure if you can just get the ball into him, he can make something happen as well.
Well, we had some comments on the last podcast around about Simmons and his lack of a jump shot, which still seems to be nothing really worked on in the off season, and he's pulling up a bit more. But you look at the big guys and how they shoot, and how Embiid shoots, how LeBron shoots, and how good outside bigs shoot, and Simmons doesn't shoot like that from a biomechanical perspective. He shoots very flat.
Yeah.
He doesn't lean back at all to create the arc. Because when you're 7 foot and you're near the rim, if you're shooting flat, it's just going to come straight back at you. And that's Dario Saric's problem at the moment as well. It's why he's getting no arc on the ball, and he's getting nothing in.
Yeah.
He's playing terribly at the moment. He's just taking up 30 minutes for no points. And I think Brett Brown really needs to do something about that.
But who else can you play in his place? I mean, Muscala and Chandler are pretty much...
Well, Muscala is getting a lot more minutes.
Yeah.
But I would actually play Bolden in his place.
Yeah.
Play him at the 4. And now, this is the other thing as well. Bolden's been sent to the G League now to get minutes up, which isn't a bad thing necessarily. But I think once you're having... Wilson Chandler is going to be on restricted minutes for a couple of months. You've got Mike Muscala, who's not a bad player, but he's an older player. And you've got this young, talented... potential in your team that could be taking minutes away from a player that they're holding up anyway.
Yeah.
Like they're still winning with Saric doing absolutely nothing. Take 15 minutes off Saric, give it to Bolden, and hold on, you've got potentially 20 games where this guy's getting some regular minutes and building his acumen and is getting part of the process, but you haven't. You've sent him straight to the G League. It's just some very interesting and silly, I think, managerial problems from Brett Brown in the moment.
Yeah.
I can see what he's trying to do. I just don't think that works. You've had your 6 years to tinker with the team. I think now is something to settle down and get some progress happening.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, we're just going to play Fultz at 2 for the whole season, even though he's a 1.
Yeah.
Get JJ Redick off the bread. Luckily, we've had Landry Shamet, who is a great
pretty well,
pick up at 26, who's essentially a JJ Redick clone, except bigger, which is unreal to find that in the rough, I think, and will do very well for the Sixers in the coming years.
So I still think Philly's got one more year though. They've got one more year of room.
This was the year. Wilson Chandler's on $12 million. Mike Muscala's on 5. Jared Bayless is on 8. So you've got 3 guys who are on single season contracts that are taking up $23 million in cap space, or actually more, $25 million. So you've got a max contract in there somewhere.
Yeah.
The problem is then you have to extend Simmons in the year after,
and they're definitely going to do that.
They're definitely going to do that. And so you've got Embiid on max, you've got Simmons on max, and you're going to bring in a max player. Mind you, Philly are 29th in salaries at the moment out of 30. You're going to bring these players in. Who are you going to sign? Who's up for free agency that wants to come down?
Paul George? Nah, he already signed.
So, probably the only person that's coming up in the next 2 years that you want to sign. No, Kawhi won't go to the Philly. He'll go to the Clippers. Is Anthony Davis.
Yeah. But then why would you have Embiid and Anthony Davis on
Anthony
the same
Davis
team?
plays the 4. Get rid of Saric. Or Saric plays the backup.
Yeah, I suppose,
Could you imagine 2 big men like that? Just rim protecting?
Did you think they'd clash though, Embiid and AD?
No, because they're ISO players.
But they'd be the 2 stars of the team. You reckon Embiid could have another star in there?
Well, Ben Simmons is technically a star. If he doesn't make, if he develops his jump shot, I think that they're young enough that And then Embiid's ego, he's the process. Like, you take Ben Simmons out, Embiid's the process.
Yeah.
Embiid is what they started with and what they built their team around. Simmons just happened to come along and be awesome. And now they're building it around a point guard and a center. And they've got some pieces in between. And they, luckily got a G League pickup in Covington, who's developed into potentially one of the best defensive players in the league. And so there's that piece of that puzzle where you've got the point scoring.
Yeah.
Because right now they don't have Covington's a great defensive player. Saric is not a point scorer. Well, he's bad at the moment. Simmons is not a point scoring player. So you've got 2 7-foot ISOs who can defend, run the floor, and shoot, who are going to put up 40 points a night potentially each.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That sounds pretty good.
It sounds good on paper, whether it works in theory. Yeah. But, Steve Kerr managed to do it at Golden State. He managed to get three guys in a room to play together in some way, shape, or form who all could be on max contracts anywhere in the league.
Yeah, but I still feel that team had a lot stronger nucleus. Like, Steph was already, I think, in his 4th or 5th year, and then Clay was already in his 4th or 5th year. Whereas I feel like Simmons is still a rookie, and then you've got Fultz, who's also a rookie, and then you've got Shamet, who's also a rookie. Like, there's still probably 3 or 4 more years where they have to support Embiid, who's probably the most ready to become like the star of a team. You know what I mean? Like, there's not enough sort of meat in behind what Embiid represents. So I still feel like there's a couple of years where they can just keep growing. Like, there's room for them to grow. Like, it's okay if you make the playoffs this year and don't go.
Oh yeah, completely. If this isn't all the way, this is just getting to the playoffs and potentially progressing into a further round, or getting to that's all it is. It's getting to where they were last year, or potentially a little bit better. That's all it is.
And they kind of whiffed a little bit on that big signing this year.
They did, and they kind of put in a few pieces that were.
Well, just kind of whatever
came along. It was whatever came along for a year. It's just fill gaps. Well, I mean, the Bayless contract kind of fucked them.
Well, yeah, the Bayless contract. And you never know what kind of effect Chandler and Muscala would have on the team in general. Like, they came in and plugged in, did really well. We wouldn't be having this discussion.
Well, I think that they missed a chance to sign Ilyasova, which was a big mistake.
Did he really want to stay there?
Yeah, he wanted a 3-year deal. That's what the whole thing was. I think he's on $3 million, 11 a season and they didn't want that $11 million in their cap, so they could sign that big signing that never eventuated. So I think they missed out on potentially the most versatile 3 to 5 in the league, who's a veteran, who's been there and did so much for them on that 17-game run to sign someone who didn't eventuate.
That's a pretty big thing to lose as well.
Yeah. Like Bellinelli, you leave, you lose Bellinelli, which is a loss as well. But you found Shamet, so there's that piece. But you haven't found that Ilyasova piece.
Yeah,
and I don't think many teams will. Now he's killing it for the Bucks.
Yeah, I think he's just plugging into the Bucks better because
he plugs into any team better.
Yeah, true.
He can just come and play in any team because he plays 3 through 5, can defend, takes the most charges in the league, usually behind Kyle Lowry, and can shoot the 3 ball pretty effectively.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's enough. That's enough
Philly talk. That's enough Philly. But the big one of the round was the Raptors and the Bucks, and no Giannis, no Kawhi. And I thought this one would go this way, and the Bucks prevail.
Yeah, it was a good win for them. It was really unusual that they rested Kawhi after Giannis was put on concussion protocol.
I think that they
maybe they thought, he needs a rest pretty bad, so we'll rest him.
I think they're still worried about his quad. I mean, you'd taken a whole season off. You don't want to come back and play too many back-to-backs. It's just in case they're what the Raptors. It's still
a strange game. Like, it's a big game. If you were to go 8-0, they copped a bit of a hiding from the Bucks, who were, I would say, under strength without Giannis.
Under strength, but again, the pieces that filled. I mean, they're a 3-shooting team. Giannis is not a 3-shooting player.
Yeah.
It's just nice to see that, someone else plugged into that. I think Tony Snell and the Thonotron plugged into that quite well and put in some good minutes. I think Thon, 11 points, 4 from 7, 50% from 3, 7 rebounds, 2 assists and a block. That's some good minutes from... He hasn't had a lot of minutes in the game, in games. And that... showed that he can plug into that team if Giannis is out at that 4 spot and be that kind of stretch length 4 and work it well. But I mean, Brogdon had a great game. Bledsoe had a great game.
And Bledsoe, I think, is someone where if obviously Giannis is holding the ball a lot and doing a lot of drive and kick and a lot of drive and score, if you take Giannis out and plug a point guard into that, like Bledsoe has those tools in his locker.
Yeah, it's like a second ball handler.
Yeah, and if you're obviously already spacing the floor, getting guys out of the way, that's where you can throw your point guard at that and just say, look, drive and kick, drive and score. And he's probably the perfect guy to do that because he gets to the rim pretty well and he can pass out of drives pretty well. But Thornatron, he played 23 minutes. He got 11 points, 4 of 7 from the field, and 2 of 4 from 3. So
and Ilyasova, 19 points season high. This is, you know what I mean? Can plug into the 4 spot. I can't say how much of a loss that is to Philly this season, having a 13-year vet around as well.
He's experienced, but he's fitting this team perfect. I feel like any player like in that forward center mold that can shoot a 3.
Yeah, it's pretty much would fit this team.
Will fit that team perfectly.
The one thing that Ilyasova does better than most others is defend.
Yeah,
he's 6'10". He's a big body that can play the 4.
So Delhi had 4 minutes, no points. He had 1 turnover in garbage time, and he was a -11 in garbage time. But that's poor old Delhi.
Poor old Delhi. Yeah.
But the big thing from this game was the Raps shot 9 of 45 from 3, and then the Bucks were 19 of 45 from 3. So they were obviously knocking down their 3-pointers.
The fact that they're taking 45 shots.
That's a lot of 3-pointers.
It's just a lot of 3-pointers. And you know what? That's the way the game's going at the moment.
Well, it's the way the Rockets played last year, and it feels like everyone looked at the Rockets and went, they shot 53s a game. We could shoot 53s a game. Let's just start throwing up threes.
Let's throwing up bricks.
And then I look at the Warriors, where everyone's kind of looked at the Warriors to get to this point. Yeah. And the Warriors are like, no, we're only putting 20, 25 up this year. So I feel like they're kind of ahead of the curve again. Like it's come back around.
It's come back full. Yeah, but when you got Clay hitting 15 a game or whatever, it's 14 in a game, and Steph who hits threes at stupid will.
It's a very outlier game where they're shooting 35, 40 threes. Like they don't obviously just chuck up threes. Curry kind of is a little bit this season because it looks like he's gunning for the MVP, but that's not their style. Is built out of playing all-round games, like playing dribble drive, passing, Draymond Green handling at the elbow, whereas Houston last year were just 53s a game, Harden drive, Harden kicks it out, Harden tries to score. These teams are going to try and emulate Houston from last year.
Yeah, but I think what they saw from that is that at the final hurdle it failed.
Yeah.
Without
I've
good
seen
defense.
The Warriors do that. Like, oh no, we bricked 25 threes and lost the game. Like, I've seen that heaps of times.
But the Warriors tend to do that less than other teams because
because like Curry's just the Curry from 2015 and the Curry at 2016 till now, like drives to the rim way more and at way higher percentage or way more success. So you don't know what's happening. You don't know whether he's going to drive, he's going to shoot the 3, and it obviously makes the team a lot better. That's where I think Giannis is a much better fit for this style than Harden is.
Yes, because Giannis is also a defensive behemoth.
Yeah, and he can see the floor because of his height and his way he's spaced, whereas Harden is like a guard trying to do it. So I think the Bucks are onto something with this team, this current team at the moment, the way they're playing.
They look scary.
Because even Lopez looks quicker. Like I was watching him in
He looks like he's lost about 10 pounds as well and just runs the floor.
He looks quicker, faster, and like at the Lakers, man, it just felt like he was playing in slow motion. It was really weird. Even when he was, his turnaround fade or like a hook shot, it just looked like it was in slow motion. It was really bizarre. And I said that at the start of the season, like he's just so slow. I don't know how he's going to stay on the floor because he's so slow. But now he's like quick. Like he actually looks like he's in rhythm with the rest of the team. Yeah, and he's knocking down threes.
He's getting to the corner spots quite well early on in the piece. And you watch them, and you watch two defenders converge on Giannis, and you watch Lopez and Middleton completely free on the arc, and he's just got anyone he can kick to.
Yeah,
and you're going to get a 40% three ball. I mean, that's how they're winning games. And that's what Giannis is able to do. Giannis is never going to score threes, or not this early in his career, I don't think.
Well,
I think eventually he will. And
I don't think his jump shot mechanics are good enough, man. That's a bit forced.
That's the big man mechanics. Very long release instead of very high release. If you look at Embiid has the best mechanics for a big guy.
Yeah.
Very high release.
Slingy and very nice wrist action.
Very nice wrist action, whereas you look at Giannis and it's not there. But that's something to work on. But when he's going to the rim, he draws 2 defenders.
Yeah. And anywhere from 7 steps.
Anywhere from 7 steps. And he's kicking out so much more this year.
Yeah.
You know, kicking out behind the back, around the back.
He can see the floor everyone. Better, yeah.
It's just it's beautiful to watch.
I wonder how much Simmons needs to look at that and kind of work on his game in that way.
Well, you look at Simmons this year and some of his shot statistics and how much he passes to Saric in an open field, and Saric does not hit it. He would have been getting an extra...
shooting 33%, so he's put up 94 field goal attempts, 31 made.
Yep.
50 from 3 and 12 made from 3. So he's not hitting shots. 24% from 3. That's terrible.
Yeah, terrible. So you look at that. Simmons would get an extra 3 assists a game if Saric hit at his numbers last year.
Yeah. And that's 12 points,
That's another 12 points a game. That's what they were scoring last year. Saric was averaging 18 last year. And now he's averaging he scored 5 today. He scored 5 in the last couple of games, and I think he's had a season high of 12. That's not good enough.
He's averaging 9.9, 10 points a game.
Yeah, which is not good enough. And so Simmons would be getting another 3 assists a game. There'd be less chance for offensive rebounds, but he's not really rebounding too well. I think his back's still giving a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit. Yeah,
a little bit of, but that's fine.
I wonder if Saric has got any injuries that he's nursing as well, because he's kind of known around the circles as like a hustle player. Student of the game type of player.
Yeah,
he plays like a superstar mentality.
No, he plays like an old download kind of 4. He'll bang a bit. He'll take a shot. Got a very low trajectory 3-pointer, but it seemed to have worked last year. But some of the shots he's been taking this year have been hitting the front of the rim. Like it's just you're not even getting to the backboard. Yeah,
like that's a lot of tiredness. If you're missing short, then that's tiredness, not getting your legs under you. So he shot 39% last year. This year is only shooting 24% from 3.
Poor.
Yeah, that's terrible.
All right.
Anyway, on to the next.
Mavs and Spurs. Spurs are just doing what the Spurs seem to do.
Man.
Winning.
Yep.
I don't know how they do it, but DeMar DeRozan is having a really good year.
Yeah.
I think he's just fit into that team quite well, and LaMarcus has kind of gotten out of his way a little bit in this game, I saw.
Yeah.
In the highlight reel. But Mavs taking it to overtime at least, but not getting the win. Still no Broekhoff. Patty Mills playing in this game. He had 34 minutes, 10 points, 50% from 3, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, and was +3 on the night.
Yeah. So it's kind of weird that he's coming off the bench, but he's still playing heavy minutes. It's such a Spursian thing.
Yeah, it's just like, we won't start you, but you're going to play 80% of the game.
But that's so Spursian, where if you're a star, if you're a veteran type player, you're more than willing to kind of take time out to help your team rather than demand minutes, because he's coming off the bench yet he's playing 34 minutes. They're obviously fitting him into these lineups, making sure he's in the team for whatever reason, defense, offense, because he's not shooting the best. Like his stats aren't great this season, but there's obviously something there that they're utilizing him. It's so Spursian that
I don't know how he does it.
It's crazy. But DeRozan again, 34 points, 9 assists, man. Watching him dish up assists is fun. He didn't really do much of that in Toronto, but watching him do it for the Spurs is great. And then Aldridge, 20 points. Rudy Gay's been playing pretty well this season as well. He had 15 points and 11 rebounds.
This is the game Doncic said, "Give me the ball, people." 31 points by Doncic in this game.
Yeah.
It was pretty amazing to watch. Knocking down some good shots. But yeah, the Spurs, what are they, 5-2 from this game?
Yeah, I just brought it up. So yeah, 5-2.
I had them under this year, obviously with losing.
But looking at the table, man, is weird. Like I was thinking about different things to talk about if we had a potted early before there were heaps of games, and I was thinking about narratives. And there's a couple of teams that are really good in the East. That shouldn't be good in the East, but they were doing well at the time. Pistons and the Hornets. And then in the West, you look at you look at Houston and OKC, who were basically 0-4 to start the season.
And now 4-4.
Now OKC's 4-4, Rockets are 2-5. And then obviously the T-Blazers and the Spurs, who have come out and had great seasons. But
it's so early. It's so early
that's the other thing
That's
too.
just so early. Like, you know that this is the way. Like, some teams will come out, Philly is crap. You know, we're not even. We're 12% of the way through the season, man. It's such a long season.
And even the Clippers look really good. They're beating teams, and the Kings are looking good, and the Grizzlies.
Well, De'Aaron Fox, man, is having a year. Like, he's playing really well. You know, first triple-double the other night, and it was a big triple-double. It was like 35, 15, and 10, I think, with a couple of steals.
And then you look at the Suns, who have like spent some money to try and win now.
Yeah, they've got Ariza Anderson, Ayton, who's playing quite well as a rookie center, and Booker, who's on a max contract, and they're just getting chumped.
Yeah, 1 of 7. It's just unusual, man. But it's so early. Like I was telling you yesterday,
it's very early.
These teams will go on a run, like a set of away fixtures, a road set. And it'll be against some crap teams that they'll just smash. And then, look, now they're 4-4. Or now they're, 4-8 instead of being 1-8 type of thing. Yeah. I don't think the Suns have that in them. Like Houston's now going to play the Bull. They played the Nets. They won. They're going to play the Bulls. And then
they'll win a couple of games. Yeah,
like a few more games, and suddenly it's back to.
But this is funny. I think Philly played 2 500 teams in that 17 run, or 3. I think 3 500 teams. The rest were all tanking. Badly tanking towards the end of the season. I was like, we've lost 40 games already. We're just out. Like, we're just out. We're losing. But anyway,
it skews things a little bit.
It does skew things a little bit. It helps teams get home. But I think we're going to do a chew the fat pod where we'll just talk about shit in the league pretty soon in the next week or so.
When we've got a window of there's no games for us to report on, we'll do that.
Next games is Jazz T-Wolves and D Rose. Yeah, man, he went emotional ghetto after the game. Emotional ghetto. So, man, I'm just so happy, man. Well done, man. He played really well. He played so well. It was amazing to watch.
Cooking late too. He cooked Gobert with a little hesitation and layup, and then he cooked Exum as well. The same thing. Little, I'm here, I'm there, putting it in. So, he played superb. Like, I wrote down that he started the night dressed as 2011 D-Rose for Halloween. Undead D-Rose, the MVP. So, he did really good. Minnesota played without Jimmy Butler and Jeff Teague and Tyus Jones. They all sat out. So
I think Jimmy Butler's the toxic part of that team. I think that, he's...
I don't know. It's a weird team, man.
Look, it's a weird team. I think Karl Anthony Towns...
They're all paid. They're all paid, though. That's the weird thing. Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns are both paid good salaries for really nothing. Like, not trying to have a dig at them, but really they haven't done anything.
Rookie of the year, wasn't he? 3 years ago.
You don't give a rookie of the year max after his rookie thing if you're a crap team. Like, if you're the Warriors and you're winning championships, you can give a guy the max, and then you got Jimmy Butler, who obviously is a veteran, deserves a max even if he's going to play in that franchise or not. Suddenly he's playing with these guys that are getting a lot of money, and you're like, these guys haven't done anything. Like, what? That doesn't make sense.
I think the Sixers might make a cheeky play for him.
Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, and I think it could involve...
Nah, they're going to have to give up too much, man.
Nah, I wouldn't want them to do it. I think the T-Wolves are like, we've just got dead. I think it'll involve Saric. I think it'll involve another player.
Jeez, you're really low on Saric, aren't you?
Well, I mean... Yeah.
But I don't want them to, man. It was like the LeBron James things. I just don't want to see them... Like, I don't want to see him give up things. I like the way this team's traveling, man, and I'm happy to sit back for 2 or 3 years and then for Philly to get 1 or 2 more guys to
the problem is
team.
that they're going to have is they've got like 7 rookie deals going. So they're going to... but these guys are going to want, 10, 12 million at least afterwards, and they're just not going to get paid that. So get pieces in now that are going to stick long term. Rather than having 5 rookies coming off contract in the same 2-year period. Yeah. And, we'll update you on the Furkan Korkmaz saga.
Yeah, so what happened to him? He
wants out. He's had enough. So he's going to decline the team has not opted into his...
okay, so that's not really his... that's not him opting out.
Yeah, they've got up. Yeah, so he's a free agent 1st of July next year, unless they give him another contract.
They could still re-sign him anyway.
I don't think they will.
Yeah,
I think he just doesn't fit the pieces that they want. And obviously, if you're going out in the media and whinging, Brett Brown doesn't like that. He wants the process play.
Is he whinging, is he?
Yeah, he's whinging. He's just like, I'm not getting enough game minutes. Well, it's just like, you dropped 40 in one summer league game, but you haven't really...
It's going off.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this game. So Joe Ingles, not a good game for the Jazz. They lost. Joe Ingles, 35 minutes, 13 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3 man. He's cooled off since his hot start to the season.
He has. He was +7 on the night though. For
still
minutes.
getting it done.
Still getting it done.
6 rebounds, 5 assists, steal, 3 turnovers again.
Yeah.
Exum was pretty good. 14 points, 4 of 9. He shot that 3 again, 1 of 3 from 3. Got to the line. 4 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 3 assists, no turnovers. That's solid, But
that is solid.
Defensively, got cooked a couple of times towards the end by D Rose.
D Rose was just feeling it, I think.
Yeah,
and good on him.
Good on him. Savvy at the rim too. D Rose,
so good. Good to see. We'll move on to the next game. Was the Mavs and the Lakers?
Yeah.
Again, a Broekhoff-less game.
Yeah, sucks, man.
LeBron, just they only lost by 1 point this game. So I have to say that LeBron just really said, give me the ball and I'm going to do things.
Yeah.
You look at how LeBron and Lonzo fit together now and you're like, Lonzo. I think he might get traded.
Lonzo, man.
I like Lonzo as well, but
he can shoot too. Like he's one of the only ones of those guys that can shoot consistently when he's wide open. You look at the problem with LeBron in that team is none of them are really veteran players. Like to go with the narrative that a few of them are all goofballs, like Lance Stevenson and McGee. They're goofy players, but their young guys are just not there yet. Like if LeBron joined this team maybe in 3 years, that's when they're all right, here we go. Now they're starting to cook. But they're not far away. They're too far away for LeBron at the moment.
They're even further away than Philly are. I think that they're, Kyle Kuzma is very good. Brandon Ingram is very good, but defensively a little bit lacking.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think they're one of the worst in the league by far this year.
They're still in that young offense. I like shooting 30 a night, but I'm not going to hustle back and go for that.
Oh yeah, it's scheming too. The way they scheme. Defense, LeBron's very blame everyone else for his defensive shortcomings. He's a good defender and solid, but if things break down, he gets very it's your fault. It's like no, it was clearly your fault, but he's right, and no matter what.
He's the customer.
So, but we'll call him the customer. That'd be a good nickname actually. But I like this Lakers team, man. They're fun, and I don't care if they win or lose. I just like watching them because they're fun. JaVale McGee, 16 points, 15 boards. Kuzma had 18. Brandon Ingram had 17 for the Lakers. The problem for the Mavs really is that Wesley Matthews, 32-year-old point guard, and then Harrison Barnes coming back from those quad injuries, like he's struggling. And if you put him in the team. And don't run everything through Harrison Barnes. There's no real point to having Harrison Barnes there.
Yeah.
Like he's not quite good enough offensively. He's not quite good enough defensively to hold together a great team. Like a crap team, he's going to be your best player on a crap team. But this team's getting a lot better now.
Especially with Doncic
and he's their max player too. Like he's their main franchise guys. And he just needs to adapt. Like he doesn't have that fit in, plug in game. He's got an ISO heavy game. Plays like Kobe basically.
Yeah.
Like a Kobe light. Nice mid range game. But really he's got to be running to the corner, setting screens and doing a lot of other different things, which is it's going to be hard for him to slot him back in. Yeah. Yeah. So, he's come back and then Broekhoff stopped getting minutes. So maybe that's got a lot to do with it. And
it has. Look, Broekhoff's probably there as injury cover. As well as, and it could look if Dallas go down, are at 30 losses mid-season and haven't really, I think Broekhoff could be getting some minutes just because I think that they're right. We're this bad. Yeah. We're not making playoffs. We'll just tank and people are getting minutes.
I don't think they want to be bad though.
I don't think they want to be bad. And preseason I thought that they'd added a couple of pieces to get them to somewhat of around about the 350, 400 maybe.
Yeah, I thought here's 10 wins, like 10 extra wins from last year. I thought they could really do it, but it's struggling.
It's struggle street. But very early in the season, and again road woes, 0 from 5 on the road.
Yeah,
same as Philly though. To be completely honest with you. Philly's 0 zip zilch on the road.
And I guess just before we move on, if you, like I was saying before, if you throw everything into the ring for Doncic, you've basically got it. You're at his mercy. You've just got to say, this is the thing with rookies and giving rookies to decent teams is if you're halfway between having a good team and just a really crap team that you're going to give a good player to, you've got to then balance your team around whatever the rookie's going to produce. So if you're a decent team on the up and you give the ball to the rookie, you've just got to go, well, we've got to just take what we get from him.
Yeah.
Because that's how we've got to do it. And if he's good, he's good. If he's bad, he's bad. You've just got to accept it because you're investing your time into that. And that's where I feel like this Mavericks team is. I'm trying to work it all out because I can't work out how Carlisle's coaching. It's just strange to me. Like there's players in there that need to be doing different things.
Yeah.
I mean, DeAndre Jordan is saying, I need to get the ball on offense a little bit more around the elbow. And I'm like, not really, man. You're pretty terrible with the ball in your hands. Like, how about you just stand in the dunker spot, get out of everyone's way and let people drive and kick it to you at the dunker spot or something like that. So it's just weird things happening there, man. I wonder if it's a lot of it's Carlisle and not necessarily blaming Rick Carlisle for it.
Maybe it's not blame game, but maybe it's just let's do some experimentation. All right, this doesn't work. Let's try this. All right, this doesn't work. Let's try this.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's that kind of coach, though, man.
Nah,
I think he just wants to do it his way.
Well, it's like Coach Bud, like at Atlanta, like, we're tanking. He's like, I don't like tanking. Yeah, we're tanking. All right, see ya. I'll go coach the Bucks, and I'll increase their three points ratio by about 50%, and look at where they are. Yeah,
for sure, because that's like in contrast to Carlisle and Bud. Like Bud's system is Spurs light, and it's all around getting people guys 3-point looks, whereas Carlisle is all about defense, all round game. And then now he's kind of trying to play three points, but it feels like he doesn't really want to do it.
It feels like it's very forced.
Yeah, so that's just, it is what it is. But I hope the Mavs get on a bit of a winning streak for Doncic and even Broekhoff getting some more minutes. And I like that team. I like the way they play.
It's interesting to see. I mean, I think there's going to be a good race to Rookie of the Year this year, I think.
Definitely.
It's like last year and potentially the year before is the rookies are starting to lead teams, like with Doncic and your Trae Young. So, and last year was Simmons, Lonzo, and Tatum, even to respect. So, it's not like any other year where it's just kind of guys that have slotted into a team and they're going, it's guys that are leading teams and seeing where those teams are going. So, good to see. The next game was the Spurs demolition of the Suns. I don't think there was a Booker in that game.
No, I think
it was a Bookerless Suns, and I think Ariza shot very, very poorly as well.
Yeah.
Patty off the bench, 9 points, 20 minutes, 30% from 3, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal, and a +5 on the night.
So yeah, him off the bench in a blowout, only playing 20 minutes. Like that says a lot about. He's been playing heavy minutes off the bench in tight games. Suddenly they get a blowout and he only plays 20 minutes. Like. So Spursian, it's just unusual.
Yeah, well, they're probably just like, well, we don't really need to risk him, or we're gonna give some trash minutes to some people.
Yeah,
that's a trash minutes game. That's like third quarter. All right,
for sure.
Third unit, have some fun.
Yeah.
Show what you're worth and put it on the floor. They led by I think they were up 60-29 at halftime.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. And just
silly.
Them.
But Ayton played quite well. He's looking good. He's looking like a good center. Look like he can shoot at the elbow as well. Very Embiid-like.
Yeah.
So, in a team where I thought that they added enough pieces to win some games, them doing so poorly is very, very...
Yeah, that's a strange one, isn't it? A really weird one. The way they kind of plugged in these older players and they're like, oh, okay, you might want to try and make the playoffs this year. That's interesting. And then, out 1 of 7 out of the gate.
It's, early days, but I think that season might be fading.
Yeah, I think it's I can't remember what I picked them. I think I picked them as low.
Low, yeah, no, I don't. I think I was maybe just over because I thought that Ayton and Booker might do something, but Booker's been a little bit shit this year as well. Scoring well, but not defending.
And the quad injury. But I'm enjoying the Spurs, man. I like watching DeRozan.
Indeed. Yeah, DeRozan's so good. I mean, they swapped Kawhi for DeRozan, and I think it hasn't actually faulted them at all.
Well, you can see defensively there's little things.
There's little things, but I think little things. I think we have to emphasize little things. But DeRozan is a faster scorer and a higher scorer than Kawhi usually is.
Assisting on baskets a lot more, which is going to help. Not necessarily that Kawhi didn't. I think it's just the way... They're going to negate his defense by playing a little bit faster and trying to plug that gap a little bit, which will take time over a season to work out. But I'm enjoying watching him. He's crisp play to watch.
Crisp. All right, the next game was the Clippers and the 76ers, and the 76ers had this game. I think this was the game where... No, that was the Raptors game. Ben Simmons got a triple-double with 11 turnovers.
Was it?
That was the Raptors game. Yeah, it was Raptors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was Raptors game.
That was like one of his, like everyone, oh my God, this is one of the worst games Ben Simmons ever played.
Well, it wasn't one of the worst games. It was a complete and utter schooling by Kawhi Leonard. It was just like, I'm going to lock you down hilariously. And Kawhi, like, even Ben came out and just said he's a freak. He's a freak defense. Like, that look, you finally saw that no-look steal. And you're like, crazy. This guy has psychic powers.
He just, like, dived backwards and just put his hand out. I was like...
I'll just take this ball. And I was like, what the fuck?
It's crazy. Yeah, he defensively, he's just such a beast. It's good when Kawhi is playing well as well.
Embiid is just on fire.
Yeah.
Just getting to the line at will, taking centers out of the... I think he took all the centers out of this game. I think they had the big dude. What's his name? Miran Bogdanovic or something? Who's the big 7'3" dude?
Who for?
Clippers.
Oh, Bojan Bojanovic.
Yeah, Bojan Bojanovic. I think they were down to their third tier center.
He's a freak. Have you seen that guy dunk? Like, he can stand there holding the rim. It's insane. Serviceably, he's pretty terrible.
Serviceably, he's pretty terrible. Anyway, Embiid had him out in the third quarter because everyone else was in foul trouble. So it's amazing to watch. He's a freak. 41 points, 13 rebounds. Simmons had 14 points, 3 rebounds, 11 assists, 1 steal, and was -2 on the night. Wasn't his best game, but again, getting it done with the dishes. I think JJ Redick saved us pretty early or late in the game with some good threes. And Embiid just going to town on the 3 ball as well.
3 of 8, that's not too bad. He had 16 of 32. Wow. Yeah. It's high usage. Embiid, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 6th of the season already. I think Embiid's a guy that you've got to get moving. He operates best when he's moving around and moving freely, and he's got space to work with.
Yeah.
It's when he gets bogged down, that's when you can start to get in his head and get up in his face. And that's kind of what the Celtics did to him at the start of the season.
Yeah.
They stopped him from moving around and getting early ball and getting early seals and getting like really early positioning on guys. And it's similar to that game yesterday between the Celtics and the Bucks. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Day before.
That's where you saw the Celtics defense. You can see the way they plan specifically for certain threats, certain types of players, and they execute it. Like they don't mind going, oh, well, everyone else is putting up 130 a game. Like we don't mind
putting up 95 because we know we're going to
we're going to defend these
I think as well, I think they've just worked out Philly so well. And essentially what they do is they draw Simmons down the side of Embiid, and they know that they could sit right off Simmons because he's not going to take a shot. And then as soon as Embiid comes in for the move, they just double team him. It's a smart late double team that doesn't give him the option to kick out because he thinks he's in the motion towards the basket. And they're such good, pocket pinchers that, they really just have it all over him that game. Simmons develops any kind of outside shot, they beat the Celtics every game. Yeah. It's just they've just worked out how to get around him so well. From that, they play obviously the Sixers so much and have done over the last 2 years that they've just worked him out so well that it's an easy win. And I think in that kind of game, you put your TJs in because TJ is a much more crafty player and can shoot off the dribble and pull up quite well. And you put your Fultz in. Fultz had a game in the third quarter, finished with 12 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's a great contribution from a guy who is, under a bit of pressure. But again, he's young. Like, you can see in his game, it's very raw. He's going to turn the ball over. He's not going to get the shots. But I think in 5 years, he'll be a top 5 point guard for sure. Just his length, his handles, his ability to get to his rim, and his shooting. It's getting better, and it will continue to get better. After a year with a shoulder, in like that very, specific time where you're building your game and then all of a sudden you lose your ability to shoot because your shoulder and then it gets in your head.
Well, I feel like it got very narrative based too. Like talking about Fultz, it got very narrative based. Hide Fultz, don't even show him training. Like where's Fultz? What's going on? Like, we need to know, like, are you going to get rid of Fultz? Like, what's happening with, like, how about you just let the guy play, and when he plays, just whatever happens. Like, it just felt like it didn't really represent where Fultz was really at. Like, was he shot really that bad? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Simmons isn't even taking them. So why is nobody caring about that, really? Like,
last season, his shot was hilariously bad. It was hilarious. Like, Simmons, the mechanics of his shot aren't great for his size, but the actual motion of his shot's quite good.
Yeah. I feel like he's just keeping it in the pocket because he knows he's going to miss them. But, like, I don't want to shoot 6 from 20 because if I put up 5 jumpers, I know I'm going to miss them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, but again, you look at Embiid, how Embiid shoots. You look at LeBron and how he's built. They all lean back when they're taking the mid-range jumper to create the arc, because when you're 6'10", you're at the rim.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting flat, it's just going to bounce straight back. And you watch all of Simmons' jump shots, they hit straight back off the backboard and the rim, and that's what happens. He
feels like his shot is an extension of a floater rather than a shot. Like, it's not a set jump shot. It's an extension of, how can I go up and not shoot a floater? Like, how can I go up and turn this into a jump shot?
It's like this.
So, man, I don't care. Like, I don't even care about that sort of stuff. Like, I think Drummond hit a 3 the other night against the Celtics, and they said, well, Andre Drummond's hit a 3, so it's time for Ben Simmons to hit a 3 now. Which I thought was pretty funny. I'm like, good burn, sick burn.
It'll be like a US debt counter. It's like days since Ben Simmons hit a 3.
Full on. But who cares, man? Like, who cares?
It's still early. Still very early in his career.
That's where my narrative of, like, there's still 2 years for this team to develop, man. Like, chill out on this.
They're getting wins. They're making their home fans happy. And they're making me happy, getting some good wins.
Yeah.
And they beat Blake Griffin's crap Pistons this morning. And if you have him beat on Instagram, go and find him putting up the video of Andre Drummond dancing and saying #feels.
So did Blake Griffin play in this game?
He did. He actually hit 32 points. But none of the other team members hit any points. And Simmons had a pretty woeful game as well. But
that's all right.
Good.
We'll save the Bucks and Celtics to next time, because I want to watch that game in full. Because I only caught the last quarter of that, just as the Bucks came all the way back. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. And they made it like a game. Like, they were down, I think, 15 or 16, and then the Bucks came all the way back and made it a game really early in the fourth. That's when I started watching it. I want to watch the rest of the game before we do it.
That's cool. Do you want to edit that out?
No.
All right, cool. All right.
That's all good. We'll do it next time. That's all good.
We'll review it next time. And remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes.
We're going to do a Chew the Fat podcast sometime in the next week. So remember, have a look at that. That'll just be talking about what's going on in the NBA in general. We can have some thoughts about where where everyone's going to sit now that we've seen the season start, and who are some standouts. And
I think in about 15 to 20 games, we'll have a look at, like, our over-under early looks at how we're going with that. Yeah. Because I haven't even gone back to look at what we picked.
As well.
But I just kind of know in my head the couple of little things that are going right that I've said. Like, the Bucks are going to be good. Yes, I'm going all right on that. And the Spurs are going to be the Spurs. I'm going all right on that. So
okay.
And your Colin Sexton MVP pick looks pretty bad at the moment.
It does look bad, but
we didn't even talk about Ty Lue just getting fired, just straight up canned.
Poor Ty Lue.
Absolutely, just straight up canned. I can't believe they canned him, but
yeah. Well, when you're selling tickets for $2,
yeah, it's crazy,
but
man.
Still the sixth highest attendance in the NBA.
Yeah,
so they're good fans. I have to say, you've got a team that like J.R. Smith should be traded to the bin. That's where J.R. Smith should be traded. Hilarious. He should be in Europe by now. He's fucking terrible.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
man.
Sorry for my swearing, but
that's all right.
He's terrible, and it's feast or famine, and it's been famine for about 3 years.
It's just causing
trouble. We just
settle down.
Just chill out, bro. We'll come back probably midweek with some further game wraps, and then a Chew the Fat pod.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. YouTube, Podcast Addict, SoundCloud, any iTunes, all good podcasting apps.
Yep.
And if you like Sydney Kings on the King's Dime, is our season podcast. Yep. Well, we will catch you very soon.
Yeah, we'll be back during the week for some more.
Indeed. Peace out.
Boo.